How are you guys all doing? Good? Thanks for joining us this fine morning. I know it's awesome. It's actually a great day for July though. It's overcast, it's raining, I'll take it. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Rendon. I'm with Express Dental Laboratory. We also have two other people in here today that are joining us from the lab. We have Hunter, who works in CS, and he is learning to merge into the All-in-X program where they'll go and do records. Sierra is one of our lead denture technicians, so she can answer a lot of questions, things that maybe I can't speak to, but she also wants to come in here and learn more about the digital processing. Okay? Who in here likes dentures? We got one person that likes dentures. Sierra kind of likes them. She's like, I gotta mess with them. Dentures can be a pain in the butt, right? The patients can be a pain. There's a lot of things that go on there, okay? You guys have probably all had some issues with dentures or even with maybe stuff we've made you, okay? Before I go and teach everything and then you guys answer your own questions, I would like to go ahead and find out what some of the headaches are, so that way we can make sure and address those throughout the day. And do not feel bad about telling us anything, okay? We want it just the way you have it, and tell us honestly. The only way we get better as a lab is if we know our mistakes. And the only way we can help you guys get better is to understand those mistakes and then maybe let you know why that mistake may have occurred. Okay? On our side, everything's very automated, okay? It's done with a lot of computers, printers and mills. The room for human error is very small, okay? So typically whatever information we get in is exactly what you get back. Does that make sense? Typically when we get something back wrong, it's because the information provided was wrong, okay? But we're gonna go through everything. And sometimes we make mistakes still, okay? We still make mistakes. It could be a shade thing. It could something came out the printer wrong and we didn't catch it at QC. Things can still mess up. Okay, I'm not saying they won't. But nowadays with the automation of how we do things, we've done all this to eliminate that human error. Okay, we did it to try to give our clients a really good product. Okay, so let's start. Who wants to start belittling us first? I'm just kidding. Come on, I know you guys all have them. You're not gonna hurt anyone's feelings in here. I promise. I've been yelled at by many a dogs.
She's just the most honest.
Okay, let's hear it from you then. You'll be straight with me.
And yes, like, be honest.
Guys, I'm 100%. We need to know this stuff. Okay?
We had one a couple of weeks ago that it was sent back twice that broke.
Okay, Trudent, trying. Probably. So if they're breaking, the more likely it's one of the Trudents and it's a try-in. And so that's fine. Just at that try-in stage after that's good, just call the lab. You need to say, hey, I want my carbon final, and then we'll send you out the final denture. It looks like a final because it is a final. With us, you get 2 final dentures. If you do your job right, your patient will have 2 final dentures when they leave. Okay, so what happens is sometimes we see that try-in denture, we think it's a final, and then we send it, it comes back broken, not uncommon, but the issue is we should have got them the carbon final and gave them that one as well. And so if you do have one that breaks, just call and say, hey, my Trudent try and broke, we were trying to roll with that, totally cool, and then we can get you the carbon printed off, okay? Other issues besides the broken dentures? Come on.
One that the doctor said the midline was way off.
Okay.
So what are things that we could be doing in the office to make sure we're getting a
We
true
will-
and accurate midline?
How-
to you guys?
You said you like dentures. How do you acquire your midline?
The midline of the nose.
Do you do anything, okay, midline of the nose?
We use floss.
Floss?
Use a tongue depressor.
And go straight up. Okay. A lot of options. I typically wouldn't freehand it though. I'm not a big freehander. Okay, sorry. I thought you were just like, Okay, do you use like floss over that? Okay. I thought you were just straight going in. I'm like, well, I mean, you can do that. Might get a... Okay, so look, we'll go over base plate wax rims, okay? That's gonna be our most important part of the whole process, okay? If a midline's off, why do we think a midline would be off? What?
Maybe marked.
Yeah, so it was marked in the wrong place, okay? So let's go over, we'll take a tour of the lab here in a little bit. Or what's that? Oh.
Like Tom Cruise, yeah. You're going for the
Yeah, and some people do have, they have little midlines off and stuff, okay? That's, the other thing is, when we're going through all this, does anyone in here have a denture or a partial? Or missing a bunch of teeth? Okay, it sucks. Imagine not being able to eat for weeks. Have any of you guys like not eaten a day and kind of got hangry? Okay, imagine your patients. Okay, and then there's not a whole time that we have a good conversation with them about, hey, we're ripping all your teeth out and this is never gonna be the same again. Okay, because a lot of times they think, oh, I'm gonna get my teeth extracted, I'm gonna have brand new teeth, this can be great. That's not the truth behind dentures. The truth behind dentures is, we'll get them pretty good, but it's not what you had before. Your mouth has to get adjusted to it. You have to learn to talk differently. You are now putting about 3 millimeters of acrylic all over the place in your mouth. Okay? 3 millimeters. If I was to take a denture and shove it in any of your mouths, do you think you'd be like, wah? Think about like a mouth guard or vampire teeth, right? You feel fuller. Well, imagine how a denture patient feels. So it's not a great experience for them. Okay, so I always like to set this idea of like, hey guys, this is what's happening. It's gonna feel different. You're gonna have to get used to it. Okay, I wanna set that preference when we start the process. Okay, patients just want to know. If they know, most people, they know why something is occurring or why it has to be that way, they're 10 times more understanding. Most of the times you guys or myself, we're not understanding of things because we don't understand the why. Okay, that is incredibly, incredibly important, and your doctors will probably not do it. Okay, so this falls on to you guys to have these conversations. When you guys are working on base plate wax rooms or trying, how often are your dentures in there working, or how often are your dentists in there working with you guys?
For trying.
Any of it? Never, right? These guys don't know. Okay. Who does? Oh, that's okay.
We do it together.
That is nice. That is, I would say, probably, that's a very rarity. Okay. My thing is I go into offices all day long, so we just do denture records, how to do this like in office on patients, and I would say once or twice. There's only one doctor that actually ever comes in the room with me. The other one's like,
The hardest thing is to scan an edentulous mouth.
and we'll get over that.
Capture that.
With the iTero, it can be difficult. There's technique behind it. Okay, just like how many of you started scanning crown and bridge, or were you guys doing traditional impressions when you first started assisting? Okay, when you first started scanning crown and bridge, was that weird? It was a little harder, right? It was difficult to get those interproximal contacts to make sure we had the prep right. That was all very difficult, and it's something we all learned, and now it's super easy, right? It's just another thing you do scanning crown and bridge. You guys probably all scan crown and bridge just fine, correct? Okay, if you can scan crown and bridge, you can scan a removable in the mouth. There's just a few things that we're gonna change how we think about scanning, and that's all it is. The same distance you're gonna wanna keep it dry, things of that nature, all the same. We might have to go a little bit slower in our speed because we don't have the dentition necessarily to attach to, but the biggest thing I've noticed in offices is we wanna go fast. I wanna be able to take my mouth and I just want to go boom over it. It's like, well, that's great and all, it ain't gonna work, okay? Or we get too far and then we don't go back to where we last were because we swung all the way over here, then we come back here and then, it's not stitching, it's not stitching, ah. It's not that it's not stitching, we're not in the right spot, okay? These scanners, I don't care what scanner it is, it could be the old iTero Element 2, it can be a Prime scan, it can be a Medit scan. Every last scanner you guys, even the ones you guys use, I've used, okay? I've used them a lot, and they all work. There are different types of scanners, okay? Some scanners are made more for orthodontics, and some scanners are made more for restorative, okay? You're gonna have to, a lot of times we go with the orthodontic scanners because there's a product that they have a proprietary hold on that you guys all like to do. My question would be, are you guys an orthodontic practice or are you restorative practice? A lot of times we're buying stuff for restorative practice that we should be buying for an orthodontic practice. They are not the same. The scanners are not the same. The size of the scanner, how it works. Getting a pallet can be very difficult when you have something that's 3 inches wide, okay? About 1 inch wide is kind of nice, okay? The Prime scan has always been smaller tip, 3 shape, smaller tip. Okay, all the restorative scanners have always had a smaller tip. iTero is now coming out with their newer scanner, and guess what they finally did? They shrunk the tip down because they want to push into the restorative realm further. Okay, this scanner's like 40K, this scanner's like 28. Okay, there's different pricing in scanners. There's all kinds of things. Okay, we have the Prime Scan, we have iTero scanners, we have the Trio scanners. We play with it all. Okay, there's one that I own, and there's one that I walk around with all the time. It's this one. Okay, I like it a lot. Okay, now can I do Invisalign with it? No, but I don't need to do Invisalign. Right, that's something for you guys, and it's above your pay grade, it's above my pay grade. But some of the troubles you're having is because of the equipment that you've been provided. Okay, but that equipment can get there just fine. It's like the difference between having a Porsche 911 and having, you know, maybe a Corvette or something, right? They're both good. Maybe a Corvette's a little, yeah. Let's think. Original Bachelor, Bachelor in Paradise, maybe. I'm not sure that's a great analogy either. Okay, so we're gonna talk, first off, we're gonna get into our scanners. Let's learn how to set up a scanner. Okay, as some of these scanners are coming out, especially ones with you guys that I've seen newer ones being acquired, a lot of places are going more to this laptop style. And same thing here. The Trios 4s or Trios 5s are like this. The Prime Scan has a laptop version now. They still have their DI unit. There's still DI units for this, but the more cost-effective units that DSOs are looking at are laptop-based. So I would suggest you guys need to be familiar with how to set one up via the laptop.
Can you scan restorative?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can do this. You can do everything with it that you can do these. Okay. Invisalign. That's the Invisalign 2. iTero is owned by Align. Align owns Invisalign, and they are one and the same. And so that's why there's that proprietariness. It's kind of like Apple, right? Apple used to keep everything very closed, sourced. Okay, same thing there, because if you do that, guess who has almost the most scanners in the US? Because Invisalign, right? Because people say, I want Invisalign. Okay, people come in and say, I want Invisalign, I don't want ClearCorrect, I don't know what that is. Now, you could use a different person. All the companies do the same thing. It's retainers with buttons, but it's what we're comfortable with, what we know, right? All right, let's go over how to set up a scanner real quick. Hunter, why don't you come on up here? This is really important for Hunter. I'm gonna have Hunter walk through it, and then why don't you guys all kind of gather around? Is that cool to ask? Well, if you guys can see there, this will work. Okay. So, I know this might sound silly. I'm gonna go through a computer as if none of you have ever set one up before, okay? I have some people in here, in my own office, that I would guess that they couldn't set this up either, okay? So we're gonna go through this together. Power cord. I know this might sound weird. I'm being real, okay? We're gonna put that, everything that hooks up to a computer usually has a port that matches it. If you're taking something that looks like, oh, that doesn't fit in that port, and you'll see that maybe over here with more round ports, there's issues, okay? Like a USB drive will not necessarily plug into an HDMI port, though they look similar, okay? One is more rectangular, one is more of has an oblique type thing going on with it. Okay, so then this, we have our dongle. I don't ever pull that out. So if you get a Trios 4 or you get a Prime, most of them will have a dongle. This is your licensing key. We don't want to break this. We want to be careful. These laptops are about 10 grand, so we want to be careful with them, okay? They're not, so sometimes we see the laptop and we think, oh, it's just a laptop like you would get from like Walmart or Best Buy, but these are not. Any of these laptops, the processors, the video cards that go into them are like gaming comparable, okay? So 10 grand for laptops is not uncommon for these things. So I say that let's be careful. Wands, same thing, they're probably another 10 plus grand. Okay, you drop one, you break a wand, they're not typically under a warranty. Okay, so for the Trios, it connects via Wi-Fi. This is a Wi-Fi. Now this has Wi-Fi already, but we're gonna have a dedicated Wi-Fi adapter to communicate with this. What is really cool about this one is that if I do that, I can then walk around my classroom, or I can walk around my office actually, and I can scan everywhere. I could take this and I could scan all the way over there, leaving the laptop here. So in your ORs, you can set up this laptop. You can actually get an iPad, and you can have this splashed to your iPad, and all you have to walk around with is your wand and an iPad. Or you can have it splashed to your monitors and the op, and then you could scan that way as well. Okay, so there are some really cool features with this. Now that we have this, that's it. It's pretty easy. Usually most of them are 2 to 3 plugs, and that's all we have to do, okay? Now, once we get this on, I'll hit my power button. Hunter, come on over here. Come stand on this side. All right, Hunter, come on over here. Right there, right there, right there, right there. Okay, you're good. So we're gonna open this up. You'll all have a password on them that you guys will have set up. Maybe. Oh, I typed in the right password. I'm doing this upside down. That might be a factor. Okay. Cancel. All right. So my software is open, I think, but we're going to close it out. No. Oh, crap. Let me just turn this so I can type. Okay. So here we have it, and can you guys see okay? Okay, so most of them are going to have a button on them, or an application on them for that software. The iTeros will automatically boot up and typically are in that state already. Sometimes you'll have to click it, but you'll see something that says iTero, and you just click on that. Same thing here. We say three shape unite, and so we'll click, there, it's opening. They did partner with Straumann on some stuff, so like a lot of the Straumann reps sell and will help with these, okay? I know it seems a little odd, my implant rep. They're not the same company. They are separate companies. They're just kind of the dealer for them, okay? Gotta log in a lot. Okay, so now that we're here, the iTero has, and the Prime Scan have disposable tips. I'm sure you guys are all very familiar with those. Okay, you guys all seen these things before. These ones are they're autoclavable. So it comes with 5 of them.
You just sold 20.
Yeah, and you can throw these in and you're good to go. I love it, okay? If you get like wax or something on it, like a base plate wax, I'm kind of try to clean that up because it'll just heat up and like melt onto it. But, so you'll have a couple of these. The batteries are rechargeable as well, nice. And these have a charger, it holds 2 of them and they charge really quick. Okay, Mom, we saw about 50 patients, okay? I scanned all day long and I never had to wait on a battery, okay? I scanned like 26 patients. I scanned like half of everyone we did. I was scanning faster than Tony and Trey. I was like, let me show you how this is done, boys. So anyways, so we have these batteries, and then we have a nice wand holder. The wand holder's super great. One, we can sterilize, we can wipe this area down, and it just keeps it from rocking and rolling and falling off, because again, these are expensive, so we want to treat it right. Okay, the nice thing also with this one, the Trios 5 is, this is the calibrator. Every time you have this wand, it self-calibrates before every scan. So you don't have to, unlike some of these, you have to recalibrate them, like iTero, they have to log in and calibrate it. Prime Scan, you have to take a thing, you put it on the end, and you have to calibrate your scanner. This scan recalibrates every single time, which we like, because we know that we're gonna be accurate with our information every single time, okay? Because if calibration gets off, that's where we'll, sometimes if you guys are like scanning, you're like, all my scans, nothing's fitting, blah, 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 but everything was fitting. Well, what changed? Did our mill change? Are we making 300 crowns a day and everyone else's are dropping in and just your lone office is the one? Or is it the scanner and the information we provided? Does that make sense? If it was our operation, everybody would be messed up, okay? So that's, what's another nice thing is that we are big enough that if we have these one-off issues, we can isolate and say, hey, we realize it's just your office, that means it's an information issue. And then we can help you guys work through whatever that issue is, okay? There's one doctor that we had a similar thing, and we could never get the iTero to calibrate right, and it was kind of like, I can't do anything else about that. You know what I mean? Like, my hands are, I can only do so much. So now that we're here, we're going to set up for a patient. Most of them are going to have the same, very, very, very similar workflows, okay? So we'll go over this one first. I'm going to click New Patient. Same thing on a prime scan. It's going to have a new patient thing. You're going to type. That one, you'll have like a new patient, new scan. You'll click on it. And we'll get with that one. We'll play with it as well, okay? So on this one, you guys are sometimes at a DSO where you have multiple docs, okay? So in those instances, I would put in the first name slot, type in the doctor's name, okay? Just dentist, or if it's Josh Brazier, okay? Whoever you guys have. If you only have the one, then the thing should be set up to your account. Well, I don't know how you guys would set it up. Sometimes it might be set up just to the DSO account, and then you'd have to add separate accounts. Or if you don't want to mess with any of that, use doctor's name, okay? Even on the prime scan, iTero, if it's a different doctor than that machine is registered to, just put in their names, okay? So here, we're gonna do, we'll just put my name. We'll do Rendon, okay? Patient name is Hunter. Hunter, you seen all this?
What's up?
You seen how to do all this?
Yeah.
Okay. So then, we gotta decide where we're gonna send it. Hopefully, we're your only option. I know we're not. I know you guys use some other people. It's okay. They can't train you on this, but you know. And they don't, I guarantee you, you go look at any of the other labs you guys work with. Go out, and we're gonna do a tour. Go look at their lab. Come here and look at our lab, and you're gonna understand there's a difference. Nothing here is sent to China. Nothing. If you guys support communism, that's on you, okay? I know the political atmosphere is a little different these days, and I'm okay with that. All right, so.
No idea what he's talking about.
I'm just trying to be honest like her. I thought we were all about the honesty today. Okay, so I'm always going to select a due back date, okay? All of our products are 5 days in labs, crown, bridge, removables, except for frameworks. Frameworks, it's metal. We cast ours, we make it all in-house. It takes just a little bit longer, okay? Typically it can be out before 10 days, but we ask for 10 days on it, okay? Really, that's about the only thing I think that takes a little bit longer. Implant crowns, we have them down to about a week now, because we actually can mill the abutments in-house. So before, sometimes we get an abutment here, and then we're trying to move everything around. Here, we can mill out your abutment crown same time, then merge them, so we're done a little faster. But anyways, so 5 days, so if I look at my calendar, and so today was a Friday, next Friday would be 5 days. I also need to allow a day of shipping, okay? Because that's when it's done being manufactured here, okay? So that doesn't mean it's in your office yet. So then we have to give it with ProDel. If I finish it at the end of the day, it will not go with ProDel until the next morning.
A week and a half.
A week and a half, you should have everything back, okay? If it starts taking you longer than a week and a half to get your stuff, please call and let us know, because it shouldn't be. Okay, we had an office for a while. They were like taking 3 to 4 months to get their stuff back. Okay, that one wasn't one of you guys, so we had to work on that, figure out what was going on. Okay, so, and part of it was, you know, transitioning from old lab into the new lab, and there's a lot of things going on. But Sierra and her team are pretty good about getting their stuff out. And you can call and say, Sierra, where's my stuff? I'm just kidding. She does not want. Sierra's very much an introvert. Okay, so I say all that. So we'll want to pick the date. And picking the date is very important that we pick the right date. If you pick a date that's 3 days from now, guess what we think you want? We think you want that rushed. You know how much a rush fee is? $150 a day. So you just added $450 to that bill. Do you think Josh or anybody's going to be, and just in rush fees? And we can call and check, but when you send over that script, you said, hey, everything is accurate. The impression's good. This is what we want. This is the shade. You guys are signing saying, it's kind of like a house, right? And you're gonna give me a blueprint and you're gonna give me all, and you say, we're ready to go. I want you to build. And then I build your house and you're like, dude, why is there a bathroom sink in my kitchen? And I'm like, I thought the same thing, but that's what you said you wanted, okay? So, and I can't stop every single case to call and say, hey, did you mean this correctly? Imagine if we did that on every case we got all, and we try, but we can't catch everything, okay? We're looking at about 200 cases a day that move along through here, if not, and that's just what finishes. Plus we got whatever else is in manufacturing, okay? So trying to catch every little thing, trying to inspect every scan. He checks scans a lot. They check them. We're not always going to catch every little thing. Sometimes I don't know if that's the margin or if it's soft tissue. It looks good to me. You guys verified it, so guess what I think? So if you ever have a crown with an open margin, more than likely, there was stuff on that margin, and when you scanned, it left that margin open. Or we have an undercut, okay, that no one, when we see the prep, no one's turned it to say, hey, I got a big undercut here, I need to go get the doctor and have them reduce that. We don't, and so then that comes in and we have to make around it so it leaves margins open, right? I can't, something that has to insert like this, I can't have it tailor in because it won't go in, okay? So a lot of that thing when we're checking our scans for crown and bridge, insertion access. Same thing with the partial metal frameworks, okay? I need to be aware of how things, if I have two teeth that are like this and one's impacting, and it's gonna be really hard for us to get something that's gonna fit in there smoothly, right? Or if we do, you might have to put it on weird to get it to fit. We did one the other day. Sierra said, hey, Rendon, just so you know, it goes on a little weird. I was glad to know, got that side in, and then you can pop the other side in. Super easy, went great, in and out very smoothly, but if I try to put it in any other way, it was not gonna work, right? So insertion access is, and sometimes we'll get it on a model and we try, it's not coming off the model, it's not, well, maybe it doesn't go just up and down. Right? We might have to play with it some to get it adjusted. And frameworks, another good thing to know about frameworks is they're metal, right? They're very rigid. Teeth can move in space, okay? So if we're talking about 2 weeks, or with some other labs, a month before we get that framework back, is there a chance those teeth could have moved? There's a strong chance those teeth could have moved. So what happens if those teeth move? It doesn't fit. Now, is that the lab's fault? Is it the office's fault? Well, sorry, office, you're on the hook. It's your patient, okay? I didn't do anything wrong, right? We went off the information we had, everything. If it fits the model, that's all we can do. I get it's frustrating. It's frustrating for the patient. But that comes back to, well, why did that change? Well, we need to have that conversation with the patient. Now, hey, and actually, when I start my framework, I'm gonna say, hey, there's a chance you could have some movement. This is why we work with the lab we work with. We try to get back quick because we want to get that in the mouth, because we want to make sure that nothing's moving around. Or if it's really tight, you might just say, hey guy, that's gonna be really tight, but in a day or two, it'll move back and it'll fit good again, okay? But frameworks, you're gonna maybe have to adjust. You might have to adjust some class. You might have to grind on them a little bit every now and then. That's the nature of that beast, okay? Sometimes we get it really close, other times they've shifted a bunch and it's off some, okay? I've been in your shoes. I get some of those frameworks, you're like, this is taking forever. That's just the nature of the beast sometimes, okay? But typically, I feel like overall, we have really, really good fitting frameworks, okay? Part of it is we're able to mill out a castable material, we cast it, we try to get it back to you quick. 2 weeks is pretty quick for metal frameworks, okay? And sometimes if you have maybe a metal framework and if you feel like your record's really good and there's missing a couple teeth, go to final, okay? Would you do a try-in on 2 bridges? Are you gonna try in a flipper? No, if they're just missing a couple teeth on a metal framework and you can establish a BDO, it'll take an extra week in our lab, but now in 3 weeks you're done with the case. It's not 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, 2 weeks there, you're out a month and a half. What is the chances of micro movement then? A ton, okay? So that's why sometimes we maybe do a try-in, everything's good, it takes a little longer, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, nothing's fitting anymore. But it fit earlier. Well, the mouth more likely changed, okay? Anyway, so come over here. So that was due dates and a lot more. So when we get to due dates and stuff, that's something to keep in mind of, okay? Here you have your different options. You can have single unit, we have bridges, removables, iTero. It'll be removable, then intermediate full denture every time. I get that's not what you're gonna make, but you're gonna tell me what you're gonna make in the instructions. I say that to keep it simple. If I sit here and tell you you're gonna do this one for that one, and that one for that one, that one, you're like, that's a lot of information. If I say, hey, I don't care if you're scanning partial denture, metal framework, full denture, immediate denture, I don't care what it is, if you will select that setting, it'll put your scanner into the mode that we need it to scan what we need. okay? In your notes section, you will then tell me what you need, okay? Sometimes how we set something up, I try to dumb it down, I guess, to make it simple every time, okay? So on this one, I always just do, you have all these options and they are great. I do scan only. Because whatever I'm going to scan and I'm going to type a description of what I need, okay? Implant, scan body, crown and bridge, for me, I just do scan only, okay? The other thing's nice because if I click crown, then it makes me pick my shade, makes me do the tooth number, all really good things. I don't need that. You guys don't need that. You can use it if you'd like, but typically you guys can type in zirconia crown 12 A2, right? Anyone can type that in. And it'll save you more time than going through all these little steps, okay? Might not be the correct answer according to all the manuals, but that's what I find works best, okay? So I'll go scan only. Again, if you guys want to we'll have these set up. We can click on these and we can play along with it. Not a problem. In fact, you guys will all scan each other a couple times today. So you'll be able to have these and play with them, okay? I know, it's gonna be fun. Okay, she looks so sad.
Because I can't take it with me.
Oh,
I don't like this.
I know.
I like it, but I'm gonna be really sad. That's why I backfire.
Well, it might be good for me. And for the record, the itinerary you guys still have is I would prefer that any day over traditional impression, okay? And we'll get to that. So here I type in whatever I'm gonna need, okay? I'm gonna come done. I have my arches, we're good here. So if I'm doing like an upper and lower denture, U/L for upper lower. Well, okay, well you could do like CD/CD, that'd be complete denture. You could do PD, right? But if you guys just want to do like upper/lower and then tell us what you want, that'll keep it simple for you. You like that? Okay. I just want to make sure she gets the information she wants. She's the one that has to make it, not me. Okay. I'm almost getting warm now. Like I'm hot now.
Feels good to me.
I know. I should have worn my overalls. Anyway, so if we will just type out what we need, okay? Gingiva shades. If they're ethnic, we need to kind of know they're an ethnic shade. If you don't let me know they're ethnic, you're gonna get back some pink gums, and they're gonna be like, I don't know. And I get it, sometimes they have pinker gums too, okay? So that's like, you just kind of gotta let us know. So put any of that information on your dentures. What is the most common shade we call out on stuff? A2. A2, why do we do that? Do any of you guys know why we just call out A2 automatically?
Universal.
It's very universal, because when we do crown and bridge, this comes back to crown and bridge thinking. When we do crown and bridge, we're wanting to match the other teeth in the area. So what do? A2. It's a very good blend, it matches almost everyone. It's great, okay? Well, we're gonna make all new dentures, upper and lower. Do we need to do A2? Do we need to give them yellow teeth again? Now, do we need to do BL4? No. But B1 is a really nice natural white, and then they get new pretty white teeth. And a lot of people call them like their coffee. They like, especially people with dentures, love them cigarettes a lot. So,
Super funny.
I'm just saying, they love them. And so guess what happens to them dentures sometimes? They get a little yellowing. And you need to make sure to have that conversation with your patient. These dentures, if you continue to smoke and drink coffee in them, there's a risk that they will change colors. My own real teeth will change colors doing that stuff, right? So something that's acrylic might do the same thing, okay? So I always tell people, if you want to have your cigarette, not a big deal, pop your dentures out. Ideally, that with the 3D printed dentures, we're finding we get dentures that, even on some rough palates, that they will fit in suction. Okay, we just get such a better fit with them. We don't have to do palatal seals with digital dentures. Okay, things of that nature, you just don't have to do anymore. Okay, and so, sorry, I kind of got off there. So that's another conversation we just want to make sure and have. So I do B1. I prescribe everyone I work with, I tell them B1. And the reason, again, A2s are thinking from crown and bridge thinking, getting moved over into removable thinking. They're similar, but they're very, very different, okay? So, have all this, we've typed in what we wanted, and now we'll click on scanner, okay? I'm gonna let my little wand heat up. Most wands, their tips all need to warm up because the mouth is much warmer than the outside ambient air. So you put it in, it'll fog up real quick. Okay, so here we go. Oh, it wasn't already.
Pretty good.
33 seconds. Okay, so now we're gonna do our upper. Another reason I like this, it also acts like it's a Wii remote, so I don't need to touch my laptop with dirty hands or change out gloves every time. Okay, so that went over. I'm on my next scan. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys, when I'm getting right here, and I wanna get that extra up into those vestibules, right? I'm gonna take it and roll. Watch my hand. When I roll the wand back, it moves my teeth out of the way, and it gives me that higher read. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, not my greatest scan, okay. Okay. Okay, so 58 seconds. Okay, and then we'll get our bite. So where are we at? We're at 1:27. Okay. Now again, I have all my teeth, so this is super easy, right? Oh, I didn't get my palate. We need to go back and get my palate, guys. Sorry, I don't like my phone buzzing me. Okay, so when I go in for my palatal scan, I'll come in, okay? I'm gonna hold it right there in the middle of my mouth, okay? And then you're gonna just twist it, okay? It's concaved area, so if I just roll it, it keeps about the same distance all the way around, and I'm not going chasing everything, okay? So. And another, so like minute 12 there, we'll get our bite now.
So is this on a mode similar to the iTero where it's picking up gingival?
And we're gonna scan with that one too.
Okay, but can you take, is there a setting on here where you can take that off where it only does the teeth, or is it always?
It'll always be the same.
Okay.
Okay, this stays the same. And on the iTero anymore, the AI enables and disables when you select that setting. So now when you do removable intermittent denture, it should already be turned off. You don't need to go return it off. Sometimes people are going back and returning it off, but actually what they're doing is turning it back on because they're not actually reading what it says. I know it's weird. Okay, I'm gonna scan these guys now for my bite. And sometimes I'll try to go kind of all around. Now, I'm done scanning. Gloves off, then I'm gonna check. Sometimes denture patients will get little open bites. Granted, I don't have one. I guess I could have gave you one. See over here, I'm a little high, a little more open. Okay, and so sometimes I'm biting against the thing and it'll kick it open, so then you can go get a second bite. So if I ever see it open, either delete the first bite out or go get a second bite, scan on the side that seems open, have them bite again, scan it, and it'll help close that bite, okay? If you don't do that, we're gonna think you want some extra material there because you gave me space for it, okay? We think maybe you're opening the bite. I don't know what you're doing, okay? So we essentially, it's kind of like reading hieroglyphics to understand what doctors are wanting sometimes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We're like, this is an ancient language. Okay, so then we'll post-process. We'd be able to send that off. and then we will make you like that. I'd make a night guard or something on it, right?
So do you process it? Is it all kind of placing it all?
No, so it'll post-process, we're getting it ready. We're gonna go to our people now because we want to share it, transfer the information over. Everything has a portal, Dentsply, Trios, or 3Shape, and the iTero all have different portals they'll use to send us stuff. Medit has a portal. It's taking a second. Oh, I think it's, yeah. So that's gonna keep going. Any questions on this? It's very, very user-friendly. Very. This like is the first scanner that had everything I would want in a scanner. We actually have a Trios 4 we're demoing with people for about a month. So if you guys want to try a Trios, you can. You just gotta send us everything when you have it. You just gotta make sure your doctor's like, cool.
You could be sending it to a different lab.
Yeah.
This automatically sends to Express.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're,
No other options in there.
Oh, okay.
and if there was another option, I would come pick up the scanner very quickly. I'd be like, well, that's nice and all, I like it, but you're not using my equipment to sell it to somebody else. I don't sell these, I sell the lab prosthesis, right? So my whole objective is I just want whatever's gonna give me the best information. I want your guys' headache to be less, because if your headache's easier, my headache is 10 times better, okay? No, like, imagine dealing with 400, 500 offices of everyone having little questions all the time. You can be like, guys, it's kind of like IT, just reset the computer. Okay, I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi right now for whatever reason, but we'd be able to send it off, okay? You getting cold again? Down to your left. Go left, that long hallway, there's like 8 bathrooms. You can have either one. Okay, so on that, I know that seemed like, whoa, but that's essentially what we're looking for as far as the scanner and how to scan. Okay, let's talk about, before we get really into scanning, let's talk about some of the things we need to scan. Because I'll have you guys scan your mouth and I'll have you guys scan a wash and stuff, okay? Okay, how many patients are edentulous percentages, edentulous, 100% edentulous, or have a denture and they're wanting a new set? What do we see more of? We do a lot of edentulous scanning, but do we need to be doing edentulous scanning? Does that make sense?
Since they have a denture, you can copy it, scan it in their mouth if they're wanting one.
Yeah. Now, what do you guys, but you're still getting back a traditional denture on those, correct? Yeah, so you're not really doing a digital process. What they're doing is they're taking your scan and they're printing a model, okay? This model, as great as it is, it's not the same as your palate. In fact, I want to say a PVS stone impression is more accurate than this, okay? We fit everything to this, but we trust our computers a lot, okay? So everything we make is designed not to the model, to the actual patient's mouth, okay? That's really important. So yeah, when you guys do that, but then like they're having to cross mount them, they're having to do a lot of other things, and it's not a true representation of what they had, okay? They're gonna do that, they're gonna set it, and they're gonna build you a new wax up. A true reference denture, you should have a new, how long, after you scan that denture, how many appointments until you've gone to final? 2 to 3, I'm guessing. With a reference denture scan, the next appointment should be final. Okay, if you're using us and you're doing a true digital workflow, that should be next appointment done. With us, after base plate wax rim, you should be done. The next appointment, you should be done, okay? Yeah, because you'll keep that, you'll send them with that, and then you say, hey, we need to get the carbon, they just come and pick it up front, and they're done. The file stays the same. Nothing ever changes. Patient goes out to the lake, loses their denture. Great. You guys charge whatever you charge. We charge you like $150 for a reprint, and they get a whole new denture for $150. Like, sunglasses cost more than that if I lose them in the lake. And somebody wants to balk at that, be like, bro, they're your teeth. You lost them. Like, you'll spend more than that in 2 Phillips on your gas. Like, be real, okay? So it's like sometimes you gotta have these conversations with people. As difficult as it may seem, but you gotta have them, okay? So let's talk about, I'll go reference denture and we'll talk base plate wax rim, kind of one and the same, okay? So if we do an edentulous scan, okay? Or you send me in a traditional impression, I'm gonna send you a base plate wax room back, right? They typically come in and they look like this. They have nothing to them, okay? This is gonna be your blueprint for the rest of this process, okay? Think of this as the schematic, and then the RX is kind of the words that go with the schematic. Does that make sense? But these two things, they tell me a lot of information, okay? So when we talked about earlier, we're gonna wanna, what are a few things that we wanna make sure and mark? So I'm gonna put this in, I'm gonna try it in. I'm not gonna put it in my mouth. I'm gonna put this in, try it in. I will do a wash every single base plate and wax rim. Every single one, okay? I don't care if this thing just suctioned right in. Give me a wash. Now, use tray adhesive in these when you do your wash, okay? The reason why, anyone?
Comes right out.
Comes right out. What can happen sometimes as well, it will kind of pull up a little bit, but it looks good. We can't tell. There's nothing to adhere it back down. So we scanned that in, and we actually ran into this yesterday, and because it had pulled up, guess what happened in that denture? Ginormous bump. So did that denture seat? No. So guess what I had to do? I grinded it out. It's not going to fit anymore, so I just kept grinding, and then we did a wash, recaptured that information. In fact, I might actually have that wash. Is this her wash? No. I think it's actually this denture here. And so we redid the wash, and I captured that new area, okay? So every single one. Now, should I use light body, medium body, heavy body? Light body. Why do I want to use light body? It flows better, viscosity. When we're talking about things and the viscosity, okay, so say I take this tri-end denture, and they use, I think, more of a medium body on this one. But what do you notice? It's too thick. So guess what happens to that denture? Guess what you just did? It gets thicker. You just added 2 to 3 millimeters of your VDO, and guess where that thickness will get added? Have you guys ever got those dentures? You're like, well, this is super gummy.
Yeah.
And you've done like 2 to 3 washes on it? Well, why do you think it's super gummy? Because you've done 2 to 3 washes on it, and you didn't alleviate any of the material. You kept building a VDO up, and typically we do the wash, we do it in the one thing, we go through it so fast, we don't actually check. And we'll go over how to check a VDO here in a little bit. So the impression material we use matters. Now, for whatever reason, light body seems to be all these light colors, yellow, green. They're the worst colors possible for your scanner. By far, the worst ones you could ask for.
What about purple?
Is it the light purple?
It's a darker purple. It's not super light.
Yeah.
The Patterson reflection green is that purple. Yeah.
Because I have this purple.
Yeah, that more like that purple.
That's probably a little bit better. The purple's probably the better of them. The light green and yellow is probably my least favorite. Okay, now, can you scan it? Yes, we can still scan it. It's not a big deal. You can get some powder to spray on it if you need. You might have to go slower, but it will pick it up, okay? It's a little more frustrating, but we'll get there, okay? All of this is still 10 times faster than me having to do a bunch of like impressions. Now, the reason we will redo our base plate wax room is what if we didn't scan high enough? If we didn't get scanned back far enough? If something's a little off? This is an opportunity for us to verify our palatal information and to make sure we have the best read possible. Sometimes we scan and we don't get all the vegetables, and so guess what? It's short. So if I do that wash, so on this lady, I want to say, yeah, she was real shallow up in here, so we took the wash and it got better. And then on this other one, oh, this is a great one. So her denture, and we scanned all kinds of things, but she just kept on having this line. And so on this one, I did the wash, and then I backfilled and massaged it all and really captured that information so we could have a better wash on it, okay? This is an example of one that they kept building the VDO up of, and then what we did, so I went and kind of helped out with this patient. Sometimes you'll get those try-ins in, and it takes a second to grind on them, and you're like, I don't want to grind on this anymore, this sucks. I get it. If your VDO's too high, you can take this and just hold it to your model grinder, beep, and you're gonna shove off some VDO real quick, and it'll be pretty balanced, okay? So using some other tools besides what we would think for traditional dentures, we're gonna need to use different tools for our digital dentures, okay? So, back to base plate wax room. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna put my light body in it. Whew. Now, should I let them bite down? How do you take a light body impression?
I have too many.
Too many? So how do you do it? You've done at least one, you can tell me. You've done at least one. How do you like to do them? When you put them in, do you guys hold them in place? Do you tell the patient to bite down? How do you guys get your wash? Does that make sense? Okay.
I put it in there and I push it and make sure it's really tight against the tissue and the palate, and then I have them bite, and then I go through their mouth.
I never have them bite. I used to do that. A lot of times they'll relax their bite. We get a pull, it gets thicker. Won't give me always the best read. Holding your hands in the mouth is 100% the best way to get a wash. Okay? Yep. I do not trust a denture patient. Right?
So you just like hold like
I hold it for the all 3-4 minutes, and I pull that out, and then I do the bottom. I do them separately.
Yeah. So
Okay.
just to make sure that you have like even pressure. Okay. Yeah.
So what happens?
Dr. Joshua, we hold it the whole time. It's so fun. He's like, you get your intimate time. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah. That's,
I'll leave you in your alone.
again, this comes back to,
It's a lot of fun.
so let me see if I have one.
If that was because of just putting the even pressure on there.
I've gotten dentures, right? And we'll see one side, I'll have super thick impression material, and the other side I won't have any. Maybe that could be a read. Maybe we didn't press hard enough on one side because, oh, they're hurting, so I let up. Well, if they're hurting, pull it out, clean out your impression material. You need to go just put this in and make sure and push hard in it while it's in the mouth. If they have anything that's like, oh, that's sore, we need to adjust that before we do the wash. I don't know if you guys have fast or light, or quick setup or whatever, but a normal setup is like 4 to 5 minutes. Oh yeah, I like the quick better. And so that can take a second. Now fast by science, you're like out in like a minute. It's great. Okay, so when I do it, I put it in, I start posterior. Okay, so when I put this in, I'm gonna put this in first. I kind of push, and then I roll it forward, because guess what happens? Yep, all that extrudes anterior so I can get those vestibules, so then I can kind of massage it with my hands while I'm there. Okay, if I go forward then back, guess what? Where does all that excess material go? Right? And they're not in college, so we got to go through and get the right information. Haktua. Did you? Okay.
I always go usually.
Oh, I thought you meant the hawk too. I was like, I hope you haven't done that.
It's more like the front to the back.
Yeah, then that's true. When I was doing a lot more front to back, and then I've really changed it to going back to front. Okay. Shannon, actually, one of our techs here, taught me that. She said, hey, and I started trying it, and it makes a world of difference. And there's techs out there that do it, and it really helps recapture all that information very, very well. Okay, so we'll do our wash, and we'll put some material in here a little bit, and I'll have you guys just practice on them, especially for you, it sounds. Okay, and then I get my new impression. Okay, at this point, okay, so when I put it in and hold it, I'll go in the mouth. I put one finger here, my other finger comes across here, and my other finger goes here, and I pull. Or I might do 3, but I always make sure I want pressure in the middle of my palate, and I want it on the edges, okay? And I want it to be as firm as I can, okay? I'll sometimes put a hand here, and I tell the patient, I'm gonna push on this really firmly, and I explain to them what we're doing and why we're doing it, okay? Because then they're more ingredients of, I get what we're doing. And I say, if I hurt you, I need to stop. If there's pressure, that's all right. Firm, hard pressure is good, pain is bad. And then typically they're like, all right, cool, okay? They're total ingredients, and that's when we're gonna get our best washes. Typically, and then if I do my wash and the denture falls right back out, what does that mean? That's not a good wash, right? You gotta redo the wash. You gotta rip it out and you gotta redo it, because if whatever read you have at that wash is the read of the final denture. So if that wash falls out, the denture's gonna fall out. Now, if I do 2 to 3 washes and the thing's still falling out, what should I do? What do I do at that point? I gotta have a conversation with the patient, okay? Again, what do we tell the patient at the beginning of the process? We let them know why we're doing what we're doing. After 2 or 3 tries, it's, hey, your palatal information is not going to allow for suction. It could be that they're too flat. And if you look at it, sometimes you'll look at them and it'll be crazy wide, or they'll have a flat palate. More than likely, that's the issue going on. And you just need to have a real conversation with that patient. Hey, your anatomy will not always, there's function in anatomy. Sometimes our anatomy doesn't allow for the function we want, and the function that we need doesn't always allow for maybe the aesthetics that we're gonna want, okay? So we gotta have that conversation. And now that you've tried it 2 or 3 times, the patient has seen you are working your butt off to try to make this work, okay? Sometimes I usually do 2, and if the second one will have that conversation. If it's a real headache patient, do the 3rd one because they're a headache, they can have stuff in their mouth 1 more time, okay? Bad gagger, typically the front to back should help. And I will typically I'll trim the back off some. Typically if they're gagging, I'll just take this to that model trimmer, I'll just do a couple millimeters until they're good, okay? And then also you're gonna have that conversation of, you're gonna have to get used to this denture because we just added 3 millimeters of material all over your mouth. You should have brushed, you know what I mean? Or you shouldn't have gotten cancer or whatever it is, I'm just kidding. You get patients like that. I'm very dry. Yes, so when we do,
Dry the tissue before you take your washing.
yes, and getting any of that stuff out that can cause bubbles or anything like that.
Try to dry all the tissue, make sure it's really
Spray it down.
more accurate.
Is this all making sense to you?
What's up?
Is this all making sense to you?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Okay, so now I've done my washes, upper, I do my lower wash, okay? I then need to give my markings. I need to adjust my VDO. I need to make sure. Typically, the base plate wax rims they set them to what the average person would be in realm, so you typically don't have to do a ton of information. Also, I like our wax, it's super pliable, okay? It's firm, but I can sit here and once I get it kind of molded up, I can just move it with my fingers. I'll just sit here and I'll move it with my fingers. You can take a buffalo knife and trim it down some if it's big, but typically if I'm gonna move it if I need to move my front more anteriorly, if I need to move that more posterior, I'm just gonna sit here with my hands and I'll just adjust it, okay? Nothing wrong with that. I think it's much faster than getting out the burner and all the knives and messing with all that. Just, this wax is great. We do sometimes run out of it and we have to use another more brittle wax. I don't like that wax, but can't control everything. Okay, so at this point, we're gonna put these in and we're gonna get a VDO. How do I get a VDO? How do you guys check your VDO? What do you use a econometer?
Yeah.
What?
The measures.
Okay, how many of you guys have these? Okay, for the record, you're probably the only person that's ever had one of these. Like, I'm not even kidding, 100%. Okay, so let's go over how to use these. I'll hand out 2, you guys can kind of look at them. And that way when I'm doing this, you guys can kind of see. Okay, so this, you're probably wondering what one side is versus the other side. Okay, you see this side here that's straight? This is where we're going to take our measurement. Where do we measure from?
From the eye.
Oh,
Is that where you measure?
where do you guys do yours from?
We measure from where we do the Anna.
Oh, okay, so this, I would go, yeah, so you go to your, right here, edge of the eye. Okay, right where it comes to that V. I'm going to put that there. See where my lip comes to the V? Put that right there. Okay, that's my measurement. Now this flips around. I can tie that down. One of those, I think I hold it because I lost my little nut. And then I come in. That goes to right about the base edge of the nose. Captures my chin. If I'm overextended, it'll be too tight. If I'm too close, it'll be like that. Now, why happens with our jaw if we're too open? Do you guys know how the jaw works?
Yeah, and this is your team.
Messes with our team J. So our jaw is somewhat of a hinge. It's not really like this, it hinges in. So our condyle wants to sit about a little anterior, but not all the way touching, but it doesn't actually sit in the middle. So, yeah, so there, you want to have some space in here, okay? What happens is if we are too close, this is up. If we're too open, it comes back here, and that's where people get their TMJ issues. So look at them. Another good way to get your patient into CR relation, so sometimes when we'll do this a little more in trials, but when we're even going this stage, we can get what I call a sloppy bite. And you keep on trying to get bite, right over here, right over there. And you need to, when they bite, look at their jaw, okay? If they're kind of like that, then you know the bite's off. So I have them say the word Boston, and on the second syllable, the I want you to take when your tongue is touching the roof of your mouth, I want you to stop right there.
I just want to pull their tongue out.
Yeah.
To the back.
Tongue to the back of your mouth.
Yeah.
Okay? Everyone try it.
it makes you bite correctly. I have to do that every time.
It puts you exactly kind of where we should be. So once I know my video, my spacing, I can do that, and that'll help set my jaws in line. So now that I have my jaws in line, I have everything where I need it. I've done my washes, I've molded my things to make them where I need them. Okay, I've pushed this back, I've checked my video, okay, I've got my bite in line. Now, let's go through a few more things, okay? So say maybe we're too full. So do I take off from the upper, or do I take off from the lower? Well, that depends on where these sit in their mouths, right? So where should my incisal edge sit? When you smile, or you have the patient smile with the base plate wax rims in their mouth, where should the top denture be? Like the incisal edging of this denture, and when they smile, I'm doing my records, where should we see that? You know?
You say the lower lip.
Yep, incisal edging. So everyone smile.
That's what you see. You see the upper.
So when I'm doing my records, if I'm too full and I'm seeing a whole lot of lower, guess where I need to take off from? I need to take off from the lower. I might need to extend down sometimes my upper. Okay? So again, this is going to take a second. We're going to have them smile. Now I know where my incisal edge should be based on their smile. Now some people, I did a lady the other day, she had a really low smile. It's a little harder, but also it don't matter as much now. Okay? As long as I get her video right, I make sure the teeth look the right sizing. So sometimes it can play a role, sometimes it doesn't play. It can't really help you out when they smile.
If they don't have that tool,
I can sell you one for $50.
okay, if they don't have that tool, how are you guys currently doing it if Dustin's the only one that has it?
They don't do it.
Okay.
What is this tool for? I'm sorry.
Econometer, video gauge. This is a video gauge. So we were talking about when we measure, because we want to check video. Okay, the Boston thing will get you pretty close, to be honest. That can get you pretty freaking close as far as video by everything.
Put it in the script.
Well, no, I don't. I won't need to know any of this. None of these measurements matter for me. This is all for when we're doing our records. This is everything we want to do for our records, because if this is too big or too small, then I know I need to adjust my wax rims. So this is 100% a tool for you guys. Okay, to check that you have done everything possibly correct that you can. Okay, now other information I need is the midline. We talked about midline. Floss. I love floss for this. It's my favorite thing. Some people do have crooked noses, and we need to keep that in consideration. So what I like to do, middle of the eyebrows, middle of the chin. If the nose is off alignment, that's fine. I just say, hey, just so you know, your nose is crooked. And everyone laughs at it. They get it. And I had one lady, she's like, oh yeah, that's right, it is crooked, I broke it, blah, blah. Well, yeah, you have a crooked nose, that's why your midline might look funny. Okay, so you need to have that. So you need to talk to him, do you want me to go off the middle of your face? Or would you like me to adjust it over a little bit to be more in line with your nose and everything? And so what I can do is kind of take that over and cheat it to where I get it a little bit to the middle of the nose, and I can kind of get a better read, okay? But again, we need to have that conversation with the patient. These are their teeth. It comes back and that midline's off. You're like, well, the midline's off. Well, is it off? Is it off to where it should be, or is it off to them because of where they want it? Does that make sense? So again, that's also why we want to do the wash in here, because when I do my wash, now this is going to fit tighter, so I don't have to worry about that spinning on my midline. Okay. The other thing I've noticed a lot of people when we're doing our midlines. Okay, so I have my floss, and I come in I'm sitting on the side over here or over here. I come in, and where's that knife? It comes in, I'm on the line, but really, this is my floss line. I'm coming in with my knife. I'm actually on the other side making my mark. I pull it off, I send it out, I come back in, my midline is off to the left 2 or 3 millimeters. Is that because we moved your midline? I don't move the midline, I don't care where it's at. You know what I mean? Sarah's not like, that midline doesn't belong there, and moves it over. You know, she's just like, I guess that's where they wanted it. Okay? Because some people have odd mouths. You know, there's a lot of people that have weird mouths. Okay? Not every mouth, they're pretty similar, but they're definitely not the same. Though one time this was wild. We were at OK Moms, and we were trying to do like a reference denture for this guy, and we took a denture and suction didn't fit perfect. Everybody was like, well, that's kind of odd, you know? And it was like a sample denture we had that we were just using. That was crazy weird. It fit him perfect. But does that always happen? No, and do I ever expect that to happen again in my life? No. Yeah, it was really cool. I'm glad I got to witness it. You know, that'll be it. So, mark their midline. I'm going to have them smile. I'm going to mark my smile line. Okay, I'm going to take that mouth line and go all the way. And then I like to come off my nose to mark kind of where my canines are. And I'm going to come right off here, and I'm going to mark. Why do we want to know where the canines are? What does all that give me? Why are we wanting that information?
How wide your smile needs to be.
Or how wide the smile needs to be. Somebody comes in, they got really long, wide teeth. Well, our software looks at everything you've given us and it puts teeth into that spacing. I don't know where the canines are, right? And the thing's gonna say, hey, the ideal teeth for this spacing is blah, 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 which may not be ideal for your patient, okay? So knowing all that, and then we put in new parameters and it makes all beautiful teeth to fit into those parameters, okay?
Having those markings helps us pick the size and mold of teeth too.
And also what I like to send on the lab script is I like to send their age, if they're female or male, because they're radical square.
Oh, yeah.
Just to make it easy.
And we put all that into the computer, and you have catalogs. We have hundreds of catalogs of teeth,
Yeah.
a ton. And so what we can do is put that information in there, and ladies have more feminine teeth. Okay, I get that maybe they're the same these days, but a lot of things aren't the same. Okay, so we'll do our midline, smile line, mark for canines. When we have them smile, we're also checking our incisal, making sure all that's good. We've verified with our VDO gauge. We know our VDO is good. These are good records. Okay. We're going to scan. Now, when it comes time to scanning, this is the easy part. So again, okay, go here. Reset all this up real quick. I'm going to show you guys how to scan a base plate wax rim. The scanning process for base plate wax rim, for a try-in, for a reference denture, it's all the same. Excuse me, nothing changes. Okay, so we're here. Let me pick a due date real quick. We're going to set the due date, scan, okay. Yeah, dog. I like having you up here, by the way. Okay, so I'm going to take my lower. Now, this one obviously has kind of been through the ringer with me a little bit, but it's pulling up, okay? Probably didn't use tray adhesive, but sometimes that happens, okay? So we need to make sure and adjust that and have it correct before we start scanning, because if it's not, it's going to give me the wrong read, okay?
Roughing up the surface also helps for you with the,
Yes, the adhesive and stuff, it helps to let it,
and you blow your adhesive so it's not thick too. You don't want it thicker.
you guys all hear that? Tray adhesive is super helpful. Okay, now here, I'm going to come to it. I don't necessarily touch it. Okay, I'm just kind of hovering right above it, and that's for most scanners. iTero, all of them, you want to be just a hair above of what you're trying to scan. Take off. Okay, so I've scanned all the way through my trough. Okay, I can come here, I check in there. Well, you don't have to do that now, but anyways. So I'm going to come to my edge here, and this is my transition, and I'm going to transition slow, especially with the iTero. Okay, and I like to transition on a corner because I'm trying to stitch material together. Okay, these pictures need to have reads. And then every now and then I roll to the top of the denture. It's called our transition scan. Okay, and I always keep my hands out of the shot. Okay. If you got to set it down or you got to move something, set everything down. It's okay, and then pick back everything. But you got to have your hands out of the shot. It will make your life so much easier. Okay, let me get back to scanning. And the reason we do that is if I have a purple glove. Oh, I'm scanning the wrong way. If I have like a purple glove. The scan got off. Oh, it flipped it. That sucks. Oh, I don't know what to redo it. So sometimes all the machines, they will have little errors. Okay? Every now and then you're going to think this is not working. Delete the scan out. just delete it and start over. It's not worth cutting it and going back and doing this and doing that. It does. And I can go scan this. I can scan this faster, or I could redo the scan faster than cutting it all out and going back in and scanning it. See, this isn't a real patient, no matter. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay, move the hand. Yeah, actually, usually when I'm in the mouth, I typically will scan mainly looking in the mouth instead of watching the screen. Because, right, if I have my lens and I'm hearing the sound, then I know I'm acquiring wherever that lens is, right? Yeah, especially with iTero, you don't want to start and stop. It messes it up. It's weird, it's not like taking. I don't know why that is not liking this scan at all.
That's what you guys had, right, before you got that?
Are you guys still using it? Do you guys build stuff?
But we have a dog already, so I'm shaking the smell. I'm like, here you go, buddy.
You're like, I'm just scanning. Yeah. Are you guys just doing like e.max crowns? You do
What office are you?
I love Bramer's office.
It's a nice office. Like one of our nicest ones.
I love Bramer. I thought you guys just got an iTero though, didn't you?
Yeah, but we do our own
You're doing the own crown.
crowns in the office, and then we do our cosmetic from.
But not this lab, huh? She said the A lab. I noticed that. I'm gonna have to talk to, Jeffy. Yeah, why doesn't Jeff use us?
You see,
There's a reason why, like, if
Yeah,
if you know.
I know Jeff. I've known Jeff since I was little. I know Jeff's entire family. I've played basketball with Jeff, football.
I don't know, I think just one time we had sent a case to you guys multiple times, depending what you guys asked, and then we sent it one time to another lab, and they had it perfect the first time, and we just kind of wanted to start going with that lab.
Did you guys finally give him good records though?
Was it after all that trial, the denture virtual?
Again, if something's not, yeah, what was it? Because I remember one time we did a partial with you guys that took forever, but it was because we kept on getting really bad impressions, and then I actually had the patient call me and bitch me out. And I said, well, she goes, I don't understand why you guys can't do it. And I said, yeah, no, I'm not complaining, for the record. This is not uncommon. And I essentially said, well, I can't make your product if your office doesn't give me the impressions I need. I can't help you. She said, I can't honor. She was irate, and I said, well, I'm it. So I don't know what else to tell you, lady. I'm like, I can come scan your mouth or something. You know, we can do some stuff, but we got like 8 impressions or 4 or 5 impressions in a row that all just bad after bad after bad after bad. Is that on us? No, but you guys are getting frustrated and you think it's us. It ain't us, right? Again, I make 200 plus things a day here, crowns included. If we're making something that's wrong or a process is off, will I see it across the board? I will, okay? Typically it's just those records is what's going on. It's records. If you send the same bad records to any lab, they're gonna make you a bad product, okay? That's just our thing we 100% take in. Like we'll walk through the lab later and you guys will see and then you're like, oh, because it's 100% computer automated. right? So like whatever scan you put in, the margins, also if you guys can mark your own margins on your scanners, that would be ideal. Because typically the doctor and you know where the margins are right then and right there. And it's easier for you guys to look at that prep and mark them. And if there's any questionable areas for you guys to go back and look at that, then for me to get it and look at it in a stone yellow mode, and I can't see anything. Okay, and we'll go through that. We also, is anyone following us on Instagram? We actually have a great segment right now called Good Scan, Bad Scan. And you guys can go on there and you will learn what a good scan looks like, which there aren't many, and what a bad scan looks like. There's way more, okay? I would say out of all of our scans, probably 80% of them are okay? We probably have 20% that are like every time you're like, wow, that's just a great scan, okay? 80% of the scans we get, you're trying to make it work. That's why washes are really important, okay? So we've got all that, we'll put it in the patient's mouth, we'll scan for our bite, okay? Any questions on that? Okay, I always put it back. And now, when we scan for our bites, should we have them laying back or have them sitting forward? Sitting forward, again. See, these are all good things.
She's gonna start teaching these classes.
I know, I don't even need to do this. Okay. So now, if we were to scan for a reference denture, okay, so that's base plate wax rim, you do all that, okay, everything that we just went over. I have offices that we're doing this, they give me really good records, I send them this next. I'll send them a complete denture. Okay, we can go from here to there. That's now, you're about three appointments, initial appointment, base plate wax rim, your records appointment, and your delivery. That's 3. Traditional workflow and dentulous scan, base plate wax rim, try-in, probably another try-in, final. Okay? So you're about 5 appointments. You get paid maybe $1,000 on that denture. I think if it's senior care, Medicare, it's like $700-800 or $500. It's not much. You divide that over 5 appointments. It's not very much money. That chair is not producing you anything. Okay? And if you gotta keep on doing things, it gets even more expensive. Every time you ask for a try-in, a reset, something, that is costing you money. Okay? So it's really important that if we get these records right, now we've taken that $500 and divided it by 3. Well, now we just became a little bit more profitable. Okay, and typically the delivery appointments, okay, that we're seeing 5 minutes, it's literally tried in. Oh, that fits great. Everything's perfect. All right, bye. Okay, so that would be ideal, I would imagine, that you don't have to adjust them. Because this is much easier to adjust. Wax is super easy to adjust compared to these. Okay, not that these are hard, I just take a handpiece and okay, so say we get this, okay, so that would be a edentulous base plate wax rim scanning, then you would get your try-in, or actually from us it's a final denture. This is actually the denture we send for try-ins, okay? It is this product. It is hard, it seems like a denture, it feels like a denture. For all intents and purposes, it is a denture, okay? But we send it to you as a try-in. Okay, I'll let you guys kind of play around with that. It'll come off and stuff, you can pop it off.